theme that this is why we concentrate much on, that is under the financial functions. I know you did some bit of finance there in accounting, some concept. You did some concept like group accounting. Yeah, you remember that? Or you forgot? Group accounting, such concepts will come again to revisit them here in these functions. So today, first, we are going to concentrate much on the function VLOOKUP. But we will extend from what we did yesterday. No, yesterday we did the VLOOKUP, just one way VLOOKUP and two-way VLOOKUP. Sometimes you are given more data, and this data is normally put in tables. That is, when you open an Excel worksheet, like here, I have my Excel worksheet. You can make one piece of data here, then you make another piece of data in another range, and then you group them, you give names. Then when you are looking up, you look up to those range of cells. Is that okay? Yes, you'll see that one in exercise 9. Is it 9 or 10? The exercise that I send you, you have a number of exercises there that will help you understand more. A group kuna hizo exercises. So I have some questions here. I don't know the online people idea. So we'll start with this simple function. First, you can have this one. It is already in my machine here. So you enter this small piece of data. So this function, we will start with the function if and, because this is one of the functions that Hatuja discussed yet. The if and if or functions. Where do you use these two functions? Before we finish up with the VLOOKUP. Yeah, the if and if or. So initially, we said that if function is used to check for a condition, just one condition that exists within a range of argument. For example, in a worksheet like this, we can say here that if a particular cell, like if this cell or if this cell has a specific value. So you are referring to one cell only. But sometimes you are given several conditions where you have to look up for. So in this worksheet, you can have this data. Just take this data very fast. The names, you can leave the names blank, but you type the values. Type the values. Just type name, then you type the values. Then we have the two questions here, conditions to join one club and conditions to join the next club. So have that function. Then another thing we will be checking here is the speed of entering the data. The speed of entering the data. So we need to check on that. That is, how do you enter this data? Very fast, yet very accurate. For online students, we are planning to have just an online class. So that is for online student only. So it will be communicated once we get the time, allocate the time on the timetable. So, and I'm always insisting that if this paper or the practical paper that is computer-based, it is also timed. just like any other paper. It is timed. Being timed, it means that you have to complete within a specific duration of time. So, and our main aim is first to ensure that students are conversant with Excel. They are conversant with Excel. That is, you can format the data, you can enter in the values, and you can use the functions of Excel without guessing up. You know, sometimes you do guesswork. So you want to remove that guesswork first. Then from there, we'll now proceed to details. So you don't have to type this data down here. This is our question. These are the two questions, the conditions that you are given so that you can run that function here. So now I believe that you are almost winding up. Now here we had two clubs where people had to join these two clubs, but the conditions are given. Sorry, just a minute. The conditions were given that to join either of these clubs, then you have to meet certain conditions. So one of the club, you are told that you must be of a particular age, you must be of particular weight, you must be of a particular height. So that means the if function will check all those conditions at once before it gives the value that is true and the value that is false. So we'll start with the first club here, that for one to join this club, you must be 12 years and above. You must have a weight of this below 50 and the score above 72 marks. That is to join this club. So when you're using the if and function, then if and function simply means that all of these conditions have to return a true value. So the time that you use the if function is when all these conditions are found to be true. Then it returns a true value. If one of the conditions is found to be false, then it returns the entire false value. So that is, in this case, we are supposed to enter in the function here. You start with if, and you select, you double click if. Then you ask you for the logical test. Now the logical tests are several. So before we enter this logical test, because we have to check this, this, and this. Initially, we are checking only on one condition. So we have to add this function and. So you add the function, you type and there. So you realize that this one you will check whether all arguments are true. It checks whether all arguments are true. And it returns true value if all of them are true. So you select and. Then from there, you can specify your logics. The first logic is must be 12 years and above. Must be 12 years and above. Must be 12 years and above. That is age. Age must be 12 years and above. So you say age greater than or equal to 12. Age greater than or equal to 12. That is the first logic. And the second logic, so put a comma below 50. That is the second logic. So you check on weight. Weight must be below 50. So, and you click on those cells. Weight below 50. Below 50. That is less than 50. Oh, where greater than? Where less than? That is what we are now removing. You want people to master that. What are greater than and less than? So less than 50, that is the age below 50. That is the weight below 50. Then next, score above 72 marks. Score above 72 marks. So marks 72, above 72, that is greater than 72. Those three logics must be found true for one to be allowed to join this club. So that is after setting up the three logics, then you close the bracket. There is one concept in Excel that you find that after, if you are using a function and you give all the argument of the function, then you have to close the bracket. A function must have those opening and closing brackets. So we have closed the bracket for and function. We have not yet closed the bracket for if function. Yeah. So after three logics have been tested, then you put a comma and we'll put our value if true. If all the three logics to be true, then what will be the arguments? One will qualify to join the club. Or yeah, so you type qualify, qualifies, and type in capital. Qualifies. So he qualifies to join or qualified to join the club. Qualified to join the club. That is the value if all of them are true. That is, if he meet this condition, meet the other condition. But if one of them or all of them returns a false value, then you have to give the value if false. So the value if false, not qualified, and then you close the brackets. So with that, we'll be able to know the specific people who joined the club. That is, following the three conditions that you are given. First person did not qualify. Then you can copy down this formula to the remaining cells. So you just copy down the formula to the remaining cells, and you'll notice how many people qualified. Close the bracket now. Press enter. Copy down the formula. Yes, you are left behind. Where? You are very far away. Greater than or equal to 12. Then this one, less than 50. Then is one above 72. Then you close the bracket, you put a comma, type qualified. Yes, then another comma, not qualified. So this function will help us to verify those people who qualified to join this club. So why did this person here failed to join the club? Yet he has age, weight. He have already met the threshold for weight. He has met the threshold for weight is less than 50. And this one, above 72. He had 72, but he was supposed to have above, that is, he had 72. That's from 73 and above. If you type here 73, you'll qualify. If you type just 73 here, he just qualified. He qualifies. Yeah, but he had 72. That way, he did not qualify to join that club. So that is the if and function or the and function. Normally checks whether the condition or the conditions are met and returns a true value. That all condition must return a true value, must return a true value. Or function. That is another function. The or function, you do not check whether all of them are met. But if one of them return a true value, then it always gives a true value. That is our next function here. The next condition, that to join the next club, you either have the score of 82 and above, or a weight of what? A weight of above 64. That is either of them. If you meet one of them, you qualify. You don't have to meet all of them. But if you meet all of them, you also qualify. So that is the difference between and function and or function. So the function you just run just like the previous, start with an equal sign. Then you set if. Then you and, instead of and, you type or now. So it is if or. And it you actually indicate here that it checks any of the arguments. It checks any of the arguments are true and it returns true or false. Return false only if all arguments are false. If all arguments are false, that is the only time it will return a false value. That is the if or. It checks whether any of these argument is true. So we select the function here, and that function, then you check our logic test. So one of the logic tests given here is the scores. And the scores, you are told the scores are supposed to be above 82 and above. That is greater than or equal to 82. Greater than or equal to 82. Yeah. Have a score of 82 and above. That is the first argument. The other alternative argument is that weight, the weight is here, weight above 64. So it is either of these, either have one or the other. So or will only work with only two arguments. If you work with the two arguments. The two arguments, the first argument is that the scores are above 82 or 82, and the weight is above 64. Then from there, you have a comma and set the value if true. If one of them return a true value, then the person qualifies to join the club. Qualified. Then if all of them returns a false value, then this person fails to qualify. So that is how you use the if or function. if all function. So ukimaliza, you close the bracket. So the function will return the value qualified. If you qualify once, then you qualify to join the club. You can press enter key and copy down the formula. Yeah, so how is the formula there? So you'll find that here, the first person did not qualify again. Why? Because this person did not qualify one thing. And then you have to qualify. Both of them have to qualify. So he never qualified any of them. That way he failed to qualify to join the club. So to qualify, anyone who have qualified, it's either he qualifies both of them or one of them. So that is the use of the if all function. So the function must go with if and if all function. So remember that we are winding up on the basic Excel, and we have been doing basic Excel for a while. And this function will just help you to understand how the arguments of Excel or how you can base the arguments in a worksheet. So the argument in the worksheet sometimes can be logical, and to argue a logical argument, then you have to use the greater than, the less than sign, the equal to sign. These operators, we call them relational operators. So I hope that one is clear, and I hope you have got those functions clearly. Yeah, if you have done that, anyone with a problem, you are okay, fine. Now, since I showed you how to use the sum if and the count if, I want you to use the same functions here. We'll add something small to our data. So here we want to see how many people qualified a specific club and how many people did not qualify. So you can write here number. So you'll start with the first club. You can jump just one cell. You copy this and paste it here. Sawa. Sawa hapo. Then here you type number of members. Number of those qualified. Then you can copy the second one and paste it here. That one very fast. Now, using any function I have taught previously. Okay, here we have to, just a minute, cut. It has to start from there so that you can have the numbers. Yeah, so it should be like that. Using any of the function we did there previously, calculate the number of people who joined Karate Club using a function. Don't count physically, but use a function to count the number of people who joined the club. Formatting the worksheets is a challenge. Where? Insert a function that will help you to get the number of members in each of these clubs. Yes? You don't have those functions? The function you can use to get the number. Suppose you are asked a question, even in real life, huh? Yeah, in real life. Just calculate. This is data 9 records. But if you are given data of 1,000 records, will you start counting one after the other? So you have to use a function that will help you get the number. And anytime it is added, the number keep on changing. Yeah, keep on changing as you add. As more people qualifies, it keep on counting automatically. Yeah. Just to remind you on the function we have already done. They are still under the logical function. We did, before we checked on that, we did sum if, we did average if, and we did count if. And we did count if. Yes, the count if function will help you to count elements in a range of cells that meet a specific condition. That is the function you're supposed to use here to count the number of people who joined the club. Yeah. So how do you insert that function? Just to remind you of that, you just click on insert function and you look for the function count if, not count, because count will just count the number of cells. So you search the function count if. Count if. You can search from above here. So you type count if. Then you click go. So it will give you this function count if here. Then the count if, you select it, then you click OK. Then the range of cells are the cells that contain those values of qualified and not qualified. You select that range of cells. We are accounting from here to here, whether we have which word? We have the word what? Qualified. You have the word qualified. Yes, and by doing so, it will count. It will find that 5 members qualified to join this club. So you use the count if to get that. Sum if, not sum if. We don't use sum if. Online, we don't use sum if. We use count if because we are just counting the number of members who joined the club. Are we clear? Now you can do the other one. You can do for the next. Yes. I repeat. Yes, I can repeat all the times. Yeah. So the function you insert it. You click insert function. The insert function command is here. Or under the formulas, we have insert function here. You can use either this one or simply just use this one here. So then you look for the function. Sometimes it is not here. You have to search for it. But if it is here, well and good, you can just select it and then you click OK. Then it will produce the function argument. The function argument is where you set up the argument. What is the argument? That count if from here to here. Count if from here to here, we have the word qualified. So you select or you type the word qualified. Is that clear now? Yes. When you type that word, then you click OK. It will count the number of members who qualified to join that club. Yeah, you can do for the other club. Just try for the next club. Just try for the next club. Check whether you'll be able to manage that. Yes, is it easy? Yeah, it is very easy indeed. Very, very easy indeed. So you just insert the function count if. Count if, count if. So yeah, so you select the function, you click there, insert the function, select the function count if, then click OK. Select the range of cells. The next club is this one. You count for those members who qualified. So to join the club, you type there qualified. Then again, you click OK. So it will give you The total population of those people who qualified to join the two clubs represent that data of population of the two clubs using a pie chart. Using a pie chart, you represent that data of those members who qualified to join the club using a pie chart. Use a pie chart to represent that data. Use a pie chart to represent the data. Yes, inakupea nini? Negative. Inakupatia 0. Let me see. Maybe, probably, there is something. Let me see. Is this one the same like the one in the car? Is it the same? No. Is it the same? The word should be the same. It is the same. Type again. Type again. Type the word qualified again. Yes. Not any problem. Oh, stop. So, yes, use a pie chart to represent the members of the club. Let me see your pie chart. Pie chart, number of members. Okay, perfect. Represent this one in percentage. The percentage of the total. Represent this chart as percentage. Represent the chart as percentage. That chart, is it correct? You had only 2 members who qualified. Huh? So if you are to represent that chart, there is something you need to add here. That is, the chart is comparison between your data set. You are comparing between those two. That is, you are comparing between this and this. But what is this? You have to give it a name. You have to give this a name. That column, it must have a name. So you can refer to these as clubs. Yeah, just refer to these as clubs versus number of members. So you select the range of cells with your clubs and the range of cells with the members. Then from there, you can insert your pie chart. You select pie chart, just choose either of those pie charts. Then the pie chart will appear there on the screen. So this pie chart is supposed to be represented in form of percentage, because the pie chart is supposed to show the percentage population of each of these. So how do you set these charts? So here, once you insert any item that was not there before, let me delete it first. You'll notice that our menus, apart from these that are added here, Nitro, QuickBooks, Sage, the last command will be view. So, but when you add any item of the chart type or any other object, you insert the chart, the pie chart, then you add more menus above here. That is, you add the chart tools, the design tools, the layout, the format. So under the design, if you are using 2016, the data, because it will only give you two options. To give you 2 options, that is design and layout. Yeah, so here under this design or under layout, you can add the labels. You can add their data labels. Data labels. You select data labels. See data labels? Yes. Under the data labels, you can select more data label options. More data label options. It should produce that dialog box. You see the dialog box? Yes. You can also use the 2016. It's also good. Now we are representing the values, or we are representing our chart in terms of percentage. You select percentage, not values. So you remove values, you set percentage. Are you together? You are not together? Let me repeat again. Oh, after ishaweka percentage. So that you select the chart. Then from the layout menu, that is of the chart tools. Are you there? Option of data labels, From there, data labels, you will select more data label options. You click more data label options. It should produce this format data labels. And here, you activate percentage. And by doing that one, automatically the chart will represent the values in percentage. So this percentage label position at the center, it can be inside, or it can be outside the chart, or it can be best of it. So you can choose either. Where do you want to set these labels? And just set them under that is inside the worksheet. Yeah, and that chart will represent now the club numbers in terms of percentage. You can move this chart in a new worksheet so that to prevent overlapping our data. So you go back to the design and you select move chart location. Then you select in a new worksheet. We can give this chart a name. Instead of chart 1, let's call it pie chart. Then from there you click OK. Then you'll have our chart here representing the number of members of each club. 44% joined the club. That is Tycoon. Then the other one joined the next club. So that is how you run a simple chart. So you can go back to your original worksheet down here. You can go back to sheet 1, which will return you back to the first worksheet. So if and function, I hope it is very clear. Yes. Okay, your Excel has a problem. Hauna version nyingine. Inaweza kuwa imecrash. 4 points. Uliweka variable, uliset values and ukaweka percentage at the same time. That is here. Where is that? Uliset values na ukaweka percentage. Hapo inali. Yes. Yes, you can show the values, but the values are already in our worksheets. You don't have to repeat the values again. They're already here. We will go chart, just show the percentages. Any other problem? Online, you don't have problems today? Let me see, kindly repeat the part of pie chart. Pie charts, pie chart. Okay, we will have a topic about charts. Remember that we are just familiarizing ourselves with Excel. I want to show you a bit of what the content you're supposed to cover. Broken these in several areas. So we will have one session where we'll discuss functions, just pure functions. Then we will have another session that we will discuss, actually that is what you will start with. So this session, why is that thing? We will discuss about, we are checking on the basic Excel. That is something you know, about basic range of cells. This is something you should know. How do you select a range? How do you fill the data? We started with this. Yeah, we started with this. And it's quite large. So you need to know how to do all those activities about sequencing the data. If you are given one data, you want to copy down a sequence down. We started with that, and I hope you are very conversant with that. Yes. First part, and they completed that. So the other part of this is the functions, which that will be a topic on its own. We go through the function and specifically financial functions. You know the financial functions? I think you did this one in is it QA or FR or what? What did you read about financial functions? Like the net present value. You can revisit your books, because maybe probably kama ulisahau, but tutawakumbusha kidogo. NPV function, these are the financial function you are referring to. But with these functions, you don't have to, you still use the basic functions there, like count if and sum if. They'll still come in. Maybe you have to. So, and those are some of the functions. Then, after this function, there's something else called the analysis toolpack. Analysis toolpack. The analysis toolpack, here we will present several things about sorting the data, which we did somewhere, filtering the data, conditional formatting, and charts. Maybe we have a topic about. So if you have challenges with charts, we will discuss them in details. Now, including the pivot tables and pivot charts. So that will be under charts. So it's a lot of content and we have to be fast. But first lazima ushike kutumia hiyo computer, sawa? Because kama bado uko na challenge ya kutengeneza a simple chart, then we have to make sure that umejua hiyo. Now uko sawa? Are you okay with the charts? Who else alikuwa na shida ya charts? Yako haikutoa kitu? Oh, it is okay. Sawa. Me catch up. Sawa, umejaribu ku catch up. Yeah, so that is laptop haina charts online. How comes? Is there any other alternative? Sawa, laptop haiwezi kuwa haina chart unless hauna Excel. Maybe, or you're using, is another program that people install in their computers. Hiyo program ya simu inaitwa WP what? Pia uko na hiyo hautapata hizo functions. Inafunguka tu kama Excel. Hata ukiangalia unaona Excel kabisa. But ziko hapa juu. So it lacks all this, and that will be a challenge. That maybe probably that's why you don't have the charts. So if you have Excel, the normal Excel, this is always there. The charts is always there. So I think that one is clear. Then let's proceed to the next activity today. So the next activity we said, can we practice that exercise we have done? I'll give you this. You can go and practice at home. Online, I'll send you the copy, the soft copy. So you have that question. Just go and practice. Practice 4. And practice 3 on the other side is about the if function. You can just go and practice more on that. So that is the use of if and function. Then at the back of the paper, we have the use of normal if function. So you just go and check. So for the online student, I will send you through WhatsApp. Yeah, I seen that guy. You have WPS, that's why you don't have charts. So just uninstall that software and install Excel. So that is the first part. So our next session, we are going to check on several ways of running the VLOOKUP function. Yesterday we just started, and I want us to get more of this. And I send you a copy of that booklet in the WhatsApp. And if you check that copy, if you have it, I know it is in your phone. You can download that copy. Ilikuwa inaitwa KCE Training Basic Excel Notes. If you scroll down huko chini, utaona various ways of running the VLOOKUP. Actually, we have 10 ways of running the VLOOKUP function. We will not check all of them, but I'm going to check on the most common. And we are going to have the data that we had yesterday. Just a minute. So we are going to discuss on the three-way VLOOKUP, because yesterday we did one way and two way. So in that booklet, you can check on three-way. Just scroll down. You'll find somewhere written three-way VLOOKUP function. The three-way VLOOKUP function. We have example one, that is one way. Then after example one, we have two-way. The two-way, that is on page 14, two-way. Then after that, on page number 16, we have the three-way VLOOKUP function, the three-way VLOOKUP function. So how do you run the three-way? That is page number 17. What is three-way VLOOKUP function? Three-way VLOOKUP function. So I want us to run this one, the simple function, and we see how you can look up the values when you are given several data sets. We have three here. The first set, the second data set, and the third data set. And those three data sets, you are supposed to make up a lookup that will look up the value from here, or from here, or from here, with a simple formula here. That is a three-way VLOOKUP function. So will you have this data? You can have the data. You can enter in that data. In the range of cells, you name those range of cells. The first range, you name it as unit test. The second one, you name it as mid-test or mid-term test. Then the last one is final exam test. Kuna three range of cells. How do you name the cells? Suppose this is your work. And in this work, you want to have this data here. Let's see how you do this. Sorry. Can close this one now. That is our data. And we want to set up this three range of values. That is from here up to, is it E? You can merge those records. You are doing this. Then you have the names, then the subjects. So one advantage is that once you type the first data, then the other one you just copy and paste. So you just type the first data. Then with that data, this is unit test subject, unit test subject. So you know how to shade. I think I already show you how to format the data very fast. You can format this data. So this is the same range that you're going to use in other cells. So you just type the first one, you jump one cell, you paste there, you jump, you copy again, jump another cell, you paste there. So everything makes your work so easy. First, form the first one, you just copy to the other cells. So you just rename this. This is mid-term subject. Then finally we have the final exam. So you can have the data up to there. Make sure you have this data the way it is here. You can select and format this, apply the borders. So these are the basics we are referring to. Setting up the borders, setting up your worksheet, formatting the worksheet. It's something that you have to do at all times, formatting the worksheet. Then after this, you are going to define the range of cells. You define the range of cells. How do you define the range of cells? You can define the range of cells like the first range, that is from here to here. We can define this range of cells. You highlight the range of cells, then you right click on that range of cells, then you select define a name. Find the name. That name, you just call it unit test, unit test. Just type one word, unit test. Unit test. So you type it as one word, then okay. So you have defined the first range for the unit test. Then you select the second range. You define again. You can define this one as mid-term test. Just type mid-term. Or just type mid-term. That is enough. Or mid-term test will sound better. Then Okay, then the last one is final test. Final test. So you define the name as final test. So you have three range of cells. That is, you have those three cells we have already defined using names. So definition using a name is one way of referencing in Excel. We said we have three reference techniques. That is the relative, absolute, and referencing using names. Referencing using names. Now, with those three ranges of data, you now enter the values. Yes. Don't put a space. When defining the name, don't put spaces. When defining the name, don't use space. So you just use one word to define, so that anytime you select that range of cells, it you always read here. The range of cells you have already defined is always recorded in your computer. So you get it here. If I define this range of cells, is already defined above here. So it is known that all these cells has a name. If you select this range of cells, then again, you find that definition of cells above there. So all the three range of cells are defined by names. Then from there now you can type in the figures. The figures are different in the three ranges of cells. Now you can type those figures very fast. Type those figures. So the best way of typing the figures is moving down. You use the down arrow key to move down. Yeah, because if you're using the keyboard, then it is easier to move down using the down arrows as you type in the figures. So it should not take you so long. Then finally we have the last one. So those are the values you have for the first range of cells. So the second range of cells, the values raised a bit. So for the other exercises, now that you have been used to entering the data, we will not be entering the data because of saving the time. That book I'm going to prepare, it has the exercises. So you just download them from, you must be connected to the internet. You download them from the Google Drive. I'll just give a link there. So just click on the link, it downloads the Excel worksheet. Then you just work off the data. should be through now. So that is our data, and that is what you're going to run here using using the three-way VLOOKUP function. The three-way VLOOKUP function. Three-way VLOOKUP function. Change this. Select this. So our worksheet is there. This worksheet, we are going to have our formula somewhere here. So how are you? Karibia hapo bed. Ama kuna space, huh? You can check whether that one is working. So we'll have this. Share with someone who was karibu. And later. So in this cell here, that is H, that is cell H2. It's cell H2. That is where we type our unit, our exams. That is under this cell. Oh, that is not, it has a password. Okay, so you can see it here. This one is okay. Oh, this guy, I don't know what this guy is doing here. Good job. You can use this machine here. It's fine. So that said, type there the unit test. That is where we'll be typing our, like we have 3 tests. The first test is unit test. Unit test. Unit test. That was the first test. I hope to me your Gina. You can check again. When you highlight the range, you'll see the name above here. We'll a unit test. That is capital U, unit test. So that is one cell we'll be looking up for. Then in this cell down here, looking for the subject. For example, we want to look up for the subject math. Then here we'll be looking up for the name of the student name. For example, we want to look up for Bland. Yes. So our we'll be looking up for the name down here. So meaning that our formula will have the inserted in that particular cell. So it will look up for 3 items. It will look up for the range, the subject, and the student. That is a 3-way lookup. How do you enter this function? You combine this function together with if function. Together with if function. This one will take One if taking the leftmost column and another if taking the topmost column. So starting from the first range, which will be 1, 2, 3. Just as we count the index from here, 1 and so on. So that is the three-way VLOOKUP. So how is this function? How is the function? So let's have the function. So you can type together, we'll type together the function. You can just check. Yeah, so don't worry, just check there. So the function will be like this. It's mouse here. The function will be like this. So you start with if the VLOOKUP, you start equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, you can double click VLOOKUP. You know the VLOOKUP will look value in leftmost column. In the leftmost column. I hope you remember this. You remember this? The leftmost column. Maybe we can extend this a bit because the formula might be a bit lengthy. Then once you set this, we are looking up for what? The first thing that you'll be looking up for is, what is G? G4, we are looking up for the student name. That whenever we type in the student name, that is the first lookup value. So you put a comma. And once you put a comma, instead of setting up the table array, we'll tell the computer or the formula to look up this table array from the 3 arrays we have set. Okay, we will add another function called choose. So you type there, choose. It will even come automatically. Choose a value of action to perform. So you select that function, choose. And within that function is where now you state, using the if function, what to choose. Yes, which value to choose, which range to choose, whether it is this range or this range. So you type the if there, if function, and the if function will say this, that if what? If this cell, if that cell has a value, the first value arranged to read a unit test, has a value called unit test. And sababu hiyo ni test tunaiweka in quotation marks, that if that cell, that is it, has a value with the name unit test, comma, sasa itakuwa ni 1. Itakuwa ni 1 from above. Itakuwa ni index 1 from above. So you just type 1 representing the first range. That is the first range. Then you put another comma and you proceed with if. You proceed with if. If again, this cell here has a value. Mid test, mid-term test. If it has the name mid-term test, we call it that way, mid-term test, then that will be now number 2. Mid-term test, it will be the range number 2. Kwa hivyo tunaweka 2 hapo. Nilisema hivi, kwa if function, sio lazima umalize the last if, because it's now the remaining. Anything else. Kwa hivyo you can just put comma to represent anything else, which will be the third range. We have 3 range. Yeah, so unaweka hapo the third range. And the if function already imeisha. Kwa hivyo it has to, see the if function is inside here. It has the first bracket, the next bracket. So you close the 2 brackets of ifs. And tukifunga hizo 2 brackets of ifs, we need to specify hizo range of cells tunasema ziko wapi. Where are those range of cells? Maybe you put a comma and you specify the 2 or the 3 range of cells. The first range of cells is from here to here. Maybe inasoma pale, the range of cells is from there. And that range must be absolute. Kwa hivyo ukiselect hiyo range of cells, Then you press F4 on the keyboard to make those cells absolute. And you put a comma. That is the first range of cells. Hata itasoma yenyewe unit test. That is the first range. Yes. You can see. Okay. After closing the brackets. Okay. After closing the brackets. Tumefuga bracket mbili because our if function ilikuwa na 2 brackets. Okay, you can also do this. So lazima select the entire. Just choose this range from here to here. Anza tu hapo kwa mat, kwa jina mat. Yeah. Anza tu hapo kwa mat, remuka chini. That is the first range. That we are choosing the data from those 3 ranges. Lazima specify the 3 range. And then you make the range absolute. Una press to F4 on the keyboard. Itaongeza hizo madora sign. Yenyewe tu inaongeza the dollar sign. Sawa? Yes, rudia hiyo range. Select the range. Okay, I know it is tough, but just do it. Yeah, so select the range of cells from here to here. Then press F4. Good. Sawa sawa. Kama uko na problem, usitype. Okay, you just need to select the range. Ukiweka comma, hapa kuna shida. Uja close the bracket. So kwa hivyo, you select this range from here to here. From here to here. And then you press F4 on the keyboard. Then another comma. Wewe utakuwa unakaribia pale mbele. Sawa? Yes, we are solving some problems. So the other range of cells after that, you specify the next range of cells. The next range of cells is from here, here. Then again, you put absolute. And the third range of cells is from here to here. Then you put another comma. So that is, we specified the 3 range that we have stated above there. So you have those 3 ranges of cells. 3 range of cells. So actually, ukimaliza ya mwisho, there is no comma. You just put a bracket because tumemaliza hiyo. Then after hiyo, you put a comma. So if you ask you about the column index, column index, and the column index, we stated that you represent column index with the match function. With the match function that you did yesterday, now you use it here so that you'll be matching the name with the subject. The name with the subject. No matter which the range is, kama uko kwa hii range, ina represent the name, then you match with the subject. So after this, you type match. Match function. Actually, okay, hapo, just a function. And sababu wengine hawaoni vizuri, let's extend kidogo. Match function. And the match function kazi yake ni kuangalia ile subject itakuwa imewekwa. Sasa tuko the third. Tumechukua the first, the second. Sasa tuko the third. That tunaita 3-way lookup. It is now looking up for the subject itawekwa. Kwa hivyo in this cell, you click that cell. It should look up for the values. So unaweka comma that in this cell, the lookup range, you can just use the first range of cells. That is from here up to here, because it is the same that is repeated throughout. So look up those range, and every time you should always put those ranges zikiwa absolute. That is, anytime you make a range, you set it to absolute. How do you do that? You just press F4 and you make all those. And finally, put a comma to specify whether you want an exact match, and you close the brackets. You put another comma to specify whether your VLOOKUP function is looking for an exact match 2. Then you close the bracket. So that VLOOKUP function is three-way lookup. Three-way lookup. It is looking up for the name of students. It is looking up for the range, and it is looking up for the scores, the subjects. Then from there, you can press the enter key. Enter key. So have we provided unit test? Unit test. Is it? You can check again whether the unit test requires. You select the range of cells, get unit test from here. Let's copy from here. And we'll replace with this. Then maths, kulikuwa na maths. Maths ilikuwa ni S. If you type S hapo mwisho, and it should give you the scores of maths for unit test. Yes? Aha. Where? Okay, hujaweka nini? Hapa kuna kitu hujaweka. For March, you start with this. You are looking up for this. That is the name that will be written here. So, yes, then after this, you can have exact match. You're almost through. Then you close the brackets. Put another comma for the exact match of the VLOOKUP. Close the brackets. Then you press enter. Hapa ni maths, sio maths. Kuna S, eh? So, hii inamaanisha hivi, just take a look here, that when you change, why is that? And kwa unit test, maths alikuwa na 82, sawa? What about kwa mid test? If you type there mid-term test, it should change the value. Ichukue value ya mid-term test, eh? Unaona hivyo? Are you together? I know we are not together, sawa? I can see. So if you change, then it will look up for the three values. Hauko peke yake. Ni wengi, sawa? Wengine hata wajaanza. So the three-way lookup, you can follow that exercise. Iko kwa ile kitabu niliwatumia, sawa? You can just follow it again there. Utaipata hapo hiyo exercise. The three-way lookup function. And ukifanya hiyo exercise, ukiweza kufanya hiyo, then you'll be able to tackle exercise 9. Ile iko kwa ile exercises, eh? Utaweza kutackle hiyo exercise 9, eh? Yeah, and itakuwa tu sawa. Yes. Okay, hapo imebaki nini? Just yes, imebaki false. I'm supposed to type in false. Ngoja kidogo. It should pop up false. It should just pop up. Maybe the problem is here. A comma. We have this comma. Okay, just a minute. Oh, hizi kuweka absolute. Oh, wewe uko tukisoma hizi mambo ya absolute difference, ne? Okay, absolute, you make those cells zikuwe zinabadilika, zinakuwa tu constant, hata ukicopy the formula down, ne? Yeah, but since hukuweka haina shida, you can just run it through. I think the problem must be somewhere here. Hii si imetokea. Select hii, ndio. Then you close the bracket and you put another comma. It should now pop up the next one, which is false. So inamaanisha there is a problem ukifaa kuanzia hapa, ukifaa kufungua bracket. Ukifungua bracket bila kidogo, let's confirm where the problem is. Yes. Ukiona inakupatia not available because you are referring to something you don't have. You don't have math, you have maths. So, yes, that is why inaleta hiyo error. So that is the VLOOKUP function. So for now, hizo VLOOKUP tazifikisha hapo. Other types of VLOOKUP functions that you can use. So others, discuss more about function, you come to discuss the VLOOKUP now in financial aspect. That is, if you are given data that represent finances, the VLOOKUP, you have to use it somewhere in life. You must use it somewhere in life. You don't have to keep on looking up the values yourself. When you have a computer, it should look up the values for you. By having this simple formula, it makes your work so easy. You don't have to come looking up the value in the 3 range. And if it is in the next worksheet, it will still look up the value in a previous worksheet. Yeah, so maybe it's something that you have to use at all times. So we had a 2-way VLOOKUP, 3-way VLOOKUP. Now you can make your work easier by using data validation tool, ile tulitumia pale jana, that you can validate. Just click kama kwa hizi. Majina hazibadiliki. The names are not changing. Zile tu kwa term 1, term 2, term 3. So that means you can make a list here. You just define the list using the first range. So how do you make that list? You just click data validation and you select allow list. Why is the source of the list? It is here. Then you click OK. So it will produce that list. Then you also define the list here for subjects. That is, you select data validation. You define allow a list. And then the source of the list is the subjects from here to here. Then OK. That simply means if you are looking for these values, you just scroll down here, choose this student subject, and it will change. So the only thing you need to type here is these values here. And you can also define the list for this. If you have already set them somewhere, you can define the list for that. That is, you can modify that the list of terms you have. Maybe we have them somewhere like here. To know how many terms, just type term there. Then you say the first one ilikuwa ni unit test. The second one ilikuwa ni mid-term test, and the third one ilikuwa ni final test. So tuko na hizo items 3 hapo. So kwa hivyo we are defining a list from here. These are the tests that we have. Kwa hivyo when you're defining this list, then again you taenda kwa data validation. Data validation, you select allow a list, and then the source of the list is this. Then okay. We will be scrolling here. Kama nataka mid-term test, I'll select. Kama nataka final test, I'll select. And by doing that, it makes your work easy. You just sleep around. I want to know what is the final test, what is the mid-test for a student called Bob, and for the subject called physics. And it automatically gives you the value. It looks up. That is what lookup function is all about. Yes. It's all about looking up for the values in your worksheet to make your work easier when you are looking up for the values. Wow, that is serious. It should not do that. Okay. Let me see. So when you choose what, or when you type here, okay, the problem is that maybe somewhere you do not use absolute difference. Okay, G3, choose if this unit test, if this, then finally you set up the range, then match H2. Able type something else, type another value, type up a different name. Where? Hi. The formula yako umefuata vizuri. Okay, do you have that? Whatever. Hiyo ka test. You can still enter that formula again. Pata hii iko hapo. Pata tu venye iko. I think it's page 17 there. Ifuate pole pole. So, data validation is a topic that we'll discuss later. Yeah, the wrong thing. Wait. So when you choose what? Midterm. Uliandika midterm test namna gani? Let's see. How to define that thing? Oh, kutoka huku juu. Okay. Maybe why it is failing to know that. You should define the range from here. Hata hiyo ulifanya hiyo. Lakini ingine inaleta vizuri. So, like for example, midterm test math. Yeah, Tom. Let me see. Nampatia Tom 89. So inachukua gani hapa? Then it is your formula. It is your formula ulitumia the wrong match. Why is match? Match H3. Okay. Ina disobey. Hey. Unless sasa urudie formula tena. Sawa? We type tena ndio hii hapa. You can type it again. It's page 17. This three-way lookup. So, kama hii formula. Hii hapa. Sawa? So never type tena. What to your formula. So let's check a bit on online things saying what okay, the video will be shared to you. So they will share the video. In case you want to see the video will be shared again. So I see some online people saying something. So the VLOOKUP, kwa hivyo kama hujamaliza run, don't worry. I know you don't have the data, but yes, tutarudia hiyo. So the VLOOKUP tulikuwa tumeanza initially na tukasema kuna so many ways of running the VLOOKUP, and I sent an exercise, a book that has the VLOOKUP function, and it has shown several ways. Iko kwa group, several ways of. Now you can, the formula is already given there, and the explanation, if you're at your free time, just get time to read through that. Yeah, that when you repeat again, then you'll be able to understand it better. So the VLOOKUP was the last function we had to discuss in the basic Excel. So although it is repeated again in advanced Excel. I hope that one is clear. And sometimes I know some people are not yet clear. Kama haijaeleweka vizuri, don't worry. We'll repeat it again and again. Sawa? Several times. Sawa? Yes, mpaka utaelewa. Even don't get worried. I will repeat it several times. So our next discussion today that I want us to go through, maybe for the sake of those people who wamekuja late, at least they go home with something. Yeah? So the first thing you start with in advanced Excel, tutaanza na simple things that you know about conditional formatting. When you are given a worksheet, there's something we call conditional formatting. Yeah, and we are going to discuss this one using one of the data set here. So, what is conditional formatting? You may save your workbook. You can save that workbook. Then I save come a 3-way lookup function. 3-way lookup function. So, 3-way lookup function. So I want us to go through this conditional formatting and check. It's something that is very easy to understand. So we are going to discuss the conditional formatting. We have some piece of data that you're going to use, but this one you can share. You don't have to type all of it. So when you talk of conditional formatting, this is a rule in Excel that allows you to format the data, either using formulas or using some conditions that will be set. Tukona several data conditional formatting techniques. Where is this? When you open your worksheet or your workbook, this Excel is made up of several tabs, and we have seen these tabs above here. We have the tabs home, we have the tab insert, and the others. So this tab home is basically used to format your worksheet. Okay, well, the tab home is always used to format. You can format your font, the alignment of cells. You can format the numbers, and you can format styles. Under here, styles is where you find what? Conditional formatting. It is under that styles, conditional formatting. And it is grouped in all these numbers, in all these range. So you can format using the highlight cell rule, the top bottom rule, the data bars, the color scale icon. And you can also manage other ways of formatting your work. Yes. So suppose we have this simple piece of data. We have this data here. You can type these numbers. This is our simple data set. In rule, tutatumia here. So just type those numbers. Then we see how do you run the conditional formatting. So sometimes when you're working with worksheets, you have ever experienced that a worksheet, when you are recording the cells, at given times the worksheets start turning colors. You realize that the worksheet is turning color red when the cells are very down, or they are beyond, they are maybe below the expected. However, the worksheet can show the status of your cells using some colors. So ukijaribu kama ile, kuna hizi worksheets like that worksheet ya KRI, as you type in, there are certain chances where you type and it gives you a color, sawa? A different color from what you expect, or it pop up an error that you should not enter this one here. So conditional formatting will help us to do that, to create a dynamic worksheet. This is the data that we have, and the first conditional rule is using the highlight cell rule, the highlight cell rule. So here, you have to highlight the cells. That is the first step. To highlight the cells that you want to apply that conditional formatting. And you select this range of cells. You highlight these cells. Then under the conditional formatting, you select highlight cell rules. I want to highlight the cells that are greater than, less than, between, equal, text contain, or either of these. We can start with a simple one, the cells greater than. We want to highlight the cells greater than a number. Let's type here a number, like we type a number 50. So you want to highlight this cell using what condition? Then you want to set the condition here. The condition will be highlight those cells using a specific field and specific color text, format text, or we can customize our format. So let's choose one of these. Just choose that you want to highlight this cell using a green field with a dark green text. Green field, dark green text. Then click OK. Then you realize that the cells have been highlighted with the green text and dark green text font. If it is greater than what? If it is greater than 50. Sawa. Hiyo iko sawa? Okay, hiyo ni rahisi. Watu wanapenda zile vitu rahisi. Sawa. So notes the first class tutapata for online. So that is highlight cell rules. So you can clear that rule if you don't want it. That is, in case you want to start afresh a new rule, then you highlight the cells again. Then you go back to conditional formatting. And down here, you have clear the rule. Clear that rule to the selected cells. So when you clear the rule, then it clears those numbers. Yeah, so that is the first conditional formatting technique. So number 2. So here you can choose either of these options. Either you select greater than, you select less than. You can choose either of those rules to highlight the cells that you want to highlight. So anytime you change, like if you say this, I want to highlight the cells, anytime I want to highlight the cells that are less than a number, less than 10. Just check here. And if a cell happen to have a value or change comes, I change this one and I give it a value that is 3, for example, and press enter. It will automatically change the color because it has gone now to the highlight condition. Yes, and it will be highlighted automatically. That is the highlight cell rule. So you proceed to the next rule. The next rule tunaita or clear the rule nimeonyesha. Kwa hivyo wakati and you want to remove that rule to set another rule, then you have to go there and clear the rule to the selected cells. So otherwise, if you don't clear the rule, it will remain hapo, sawa? Na huwezi itoa by delete key. If you press delete key, that rule will not disappear. It will still remain there. So the next rule, highlighting the cell, we use this conditional formatting called conditional formatting with what? With the formulas. Conditional formatting with the formulas. Now you have a formula and it will help format the range of cells. We are going to use this piece of data, and this data is somewhere here. So you want to highlight using a formula. That is a small piece of data. Let me clear the rule first and select here, clear the rule to the selected cells. So it will remain blank. You can have that piece of data. You can zoom it. You have that. Yeah, the same. You can have that range of cells. We'll just do a first few, then zingine nitatuma pale kwa hiyo group, then utazirun at your free time. You'll go and run those conditional formatting functions. Just go and run them. Then you put up. So our conditional here, formatting using a formula, we are given a simple formula. For example, this is the data that you'll be working on. You can highlight that the range of cells. Then we will set up a new rule. And the new rule will have to set up the formula. So the procedure will be like this. You just click on conditional formatting. Then here you click new rule. You are going to set up a new rule. This new rule, it will give us a dialog box whereby you can choose format, either format based on their values, format on the cells that contain. Then down here, you have the option of format, use a formula to determine cell to format. Use a formula to determine which cell to format. Now, which is the formula? We can first use the formula they have given here. The formula here reads that we want to display odd numbers. If a formula starts with an equal sign, it's called is odd. You just type that formula. When I type formula wapi, format values, and the formula is true. You type that formula there, is odd. Then it will start from A1, because it have to start from A1 from where our data is. Sawa? Yes, kwa hivyo in our worksheet, shall select hii, naandika hapo, equals, the formula always start with the equal sign, is odd. Then open the brackets, A1, close the brackets. So how do you want to format this? Then under the format command, you click format command down here. Then you have to specify how to format these cells. How do you want to format them? When you click format, it should display another dialog box. This dialog box is where now you set up how to format. Command font hapa. We can make this font either bold, and we can change the color of the font to make it come red. Sawa? That is format font. Font ni text ama ni hizo numbers zimewekwa pale. So how do you apply the fill? Kama tunataka kuchange pia fill color ya hiyo cell, we can make this fill to have a color, like we can choose color yellow for the fill. Okay, the text will be red and the fill will be color yellow. So when you click OK, the cells that meet this condition will be highlighted in that manner. So, yes. That is using a formula. You can use a formula to format cells using a formula. Well, I hope that one is clear. So conditional formatting number 3, you have achieved that. Why? What is the problem? The formula should start with an equal sign. Yes, always. Weka hii. Hiyo haitawaka na hiyo. Mpaka umove na mouse. Or you type again the whole formula. So conditional formatting, number 3, we are not doing all of them. I'll just do the first few, then I will send you that book. Yes, you click format, click format. You click on, okay, there's something with the Marisa. The formula should have opening and closing brackets. Then, yeah, so you click format. Then now you format. How do you want to format those cells? Either when color red to make a color red, after the increase size, then the fill color is the color of the cell. You can change the color of the cell so that it will change. Hizo cells zitakuwa under that condition, under that formula, zitakuwa formatted to that. So we have another conditional formatting function where, so there to set up a formula, and the formula imeweza kutupatia the range, those cells that are highlighted using that rule. Sometimes you to identify the values, maybe of a particular specific records. Like here you have another case. This case is using this data. The data here inaonyesha the sales people, their names, the sales, countries, and the quarter of the year. And now you want to highlight these cells for specific sales people. So we need certain record. For sales, all those sales people from the US, it should highlight, it should show you across the screen. Kama US iko huko mwisho, haionekani, lakini inaweza kuhighlightia that your salesperson is from US, and it can make your work easier. So here, you can run that procedure and it will help you do that. So that is tunatumia highlight rule again using a formula, and the formula is this. That you set a formula and then you format the cells. Okay, format it, you highlight all those sales people from US. So you get the conditional format. Yes. Can you try this? Yeah, just try this. You enter the data first. This is the data. And then this is the formula. So, yeah. You can do it in the next worksheets. So once you are through, I know you are not through. Once you are through, this is the formula here, and there's an explanation why the formula is set that way. So it starts with the dollar sign. The dollar sign, and you set C2 equals to USA in quotation marks, and then you shade, una shade hiyo function yako, una shade. You can use the C2, you can also use the C3. So let's see, just run the function. Lazima select data yote, lazima highlight the whole data. Yes, then you new rule, then you type that formula. Weka $ C2 equals to $ C2. Shift number 4. $ you shift number 4. Then C2 equals to USA in quotation marks. Then format, weka shading, color. Iko sawa mpaka hapo, just up to there. Then click format. You apply the shading. Okay, you can shade too. Just shade. Then okay. Then okay again. So if you highlight the cells, you may highlight the UK. Imeacha US. Okay, you can use the other function. So I hope you are through. This is our data. That is our data. And this being our data, you just need to highlight the cells, rudi kwa conditional formatting, new rule. And then from here, you can say, use a formula to format. Sema you can use equals to $ equal number 4, you shift number 4. Then you type, what do you want to display? What do you want to highlight? Then you can format. Then okay. Okay, imeanza C3. You're supposed to put both of them. Put the formula given. The formula they are given here is, yeah. So you highlight the cells, you select the formula. Okay. Then you put this formula. Weka your formula, then you run. So we shall ni quotation marks, hakuna comma, ni unafunga quotation marks. Just close the quotation marks. So yeah, so just format. So today we are going to wind up there. The other conditional formatting. Okay, I think just a minute. I think there's a problem somewhere. Able to select this, just select these cells. Able to clear them. Just clear this. Clear the rule. Then you highlight again. Easy. Select country. And let's see. So, number 4. Okay, C2 goes to theater is talking of C, eh? That to make a C the equate constant to change C certainly. So it should start from C2 going down. Huh? Then USA. Then okay. Okay, here's it. Mpaka ukume select data yote. So it should highlight the entire worksheet. Okay, let's see. C2 goes to na tuliformat kweli. Hatukuformat ile ya kwanza. Did we format? I think we will not format. You know, after typing the formula, you have to format. You have to format. You have to format here. Even changing just a color. Oh, that's funny. Ama inaanza na use. No. Meruka is. Every change. Tuweke another country. Jaribu kuweka another country. Okay, there is a problem. You kama yako ime-highlight. Yako ime-highlight. It is still misbehaving. Eh? I think the formula needs to change. Okay, I'll check on that formula. Probably it will change. Eh? Yeah, so this booklet, nitatuma hapo kwa group. Sawa? Then you go through the other rules. Hizo unaweza pitia peke yako. Kuna manage rules. Eh? Ziko several, but before I send, I will change that formula. Eh? Then you see the best formula that you give you that answer. So the other cell rules, we have other manage rules. That is when you click on highlight on, you click on conditional formatting, we have manage cell rules. Like there is one we need to do here about setting up the icons, the data bars. Sometimes you work with the data bars. Like the data that we had here, the previous data, we can set up the data bars. That is, you highlight this, and under the conditional formatting, you can data bars. And it will show you the values using the bars, kama zile bar charts. Eh? Highlight this, then you select there, you choose data bars. You can choose data bars, and you select using the data bars. The other option that you can also use, just clear that rule. Clear the rule. You can use the icons. So here under conditional form, you can select icon sets. And we have several icon sets that you can choose here. So for example, you can use these indicators showing these values. You can select more rule. And you choose an icon set where there is a value that is greater than this number. You can set a tick. Even asema that, make a tick. Now, depending on the data that you have. So, but here, it have to be numbers. If you say, this icon will be displayed when the value is greater than, maybe greater than 60. Then, this one will represent a value when the number is less than 60, less than 60. Less than 60 or less than, so let's say less than 45. Anything less than 45, it you have an X. So when you use this, it will automatically set the icon bars, the icons, and it will show you the values depending on category. So that is another way of using conditional formatting to set up the values. So today we are going to end there, to wind up there. And our next class now tutaanza zile functions. Okay, but this one I'll send you, go through it. It is a very lengthy workbook. It shows so many ways of using conditional formatting. So our next class will start with, or you proceed to financial functions, the financial functions.